Hey guys, welcome back to Shep Talk Movie Review. Today I'm bringing you Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. Sorry if I glance off the screen a lot today. Cotton has decided to join us and I don't know where he's going to go. But guys, I am happy to bring you this review. But before we get into that, just one admin note. If you like what you see here, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. It helps my channel out greatly, and I truly appreciate everything you guys do for me. Now, let's get into the review. Quick synopsis. It's been years after the first Blunt Man and Chronic movie has been made. It has a cult following. Hollywood is looking to revitalize their old movie IPs. So, of course, they're going to modernize Blunt Man and Chronic, and Jay and Silent Bob are still not down with a movie being made about them. I admit, guys, I was very excited when I heard that Jay and Silent Bob Reboot was going to be made again. I'm a big Kevin Smith fan. I love his View Askew universe. I will admit that his newer stuff, his kind of horror-esque stuff, not a big fan of. But Jay and Silent Bob have always been a favorite of mine. So when I heard that we were getting another Jay and Silent Bob movie, I was ecstatic. I was like, great, I'm in for it. Let's go. Let's see this movie. And right off the bat, I'm not going to hold anything back. I loved this movie. I thought this movie was funny. I thought this movie was really well done. If you loved the early Kevin Smith, View Askew stuff, Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, you are going to love this movie. This movie has pretty much everything for everyone. I will caveat that with saying, if you're not a Kevin Smith fan, if you're not a View Askew fan, this movie is probably not going to be for you, because this is pretty much a love letter back to those movies. It's a reboot thing, and you know, it throws it in your face. This movie is a reboot. It almost is a repeat of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. You know, and even Kevin Smith said he was going to make fun of it by actually rebooting Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and almost doing a, almost exact type of movie. But it's not that. It's not an exact type of movie. It does change stuff up in this movie. But again, if you're not a Kevin Smith fan, if you're not an early View Askew universe kind of fan, this movie is not going to be for you. And saying that, man, after watching this, I need to go back, and maybe I'll do that for a Franchise Friday. I'll do the View Askew universe and start with Clerks and work my way up. Because after watching Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, just made me want to go back and watch the whole View Askew universe. And it's probably due to almost every cameo that's in this movie. I think everybody that he could get back from his previous movies, he did get back. I want to say 75% of the people that he's worked with in the past, he got to come back for Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. And it's not a bad thing. If you don't like cameos, this movie is definitely not going to be for you, because it seems like almost every other shot there's a cameo in it. And to me personally, I found that great. I found that funny. They were worked in really well. It wasn't like this, look, cameo and done. No, they were there to give either drops of wisdom, to provide guidance, to maybe make fun of themselves or make fun of a movie they were in or movies they were in. To me, it worked. I enjoyed the hell out of it. And don't get me wrong, like I said, at first this movie was supposed to be like a Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back type deal. And at the very beginning, you do get that, right? Jay and Silent Bob are still up to their regular antics. They're still trying to sell weed, make weed, grow weed, do everything they can with weed. And it's not until they get onto this trip that they realize that, there's more to life than weed. And this is really a journey for both of them going on, kind of growing up and seeing the world anew and seeing that there's more to the world and to the future than just Jay and Silent Bob. And there are some very touching moments in this movie. I'm not going to lie. I'm trying not to give stuff away, because I know, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, that this movie's not in theaters yet, and it's not going to be in theaters for a while. But there are moments where, you realize that not only is this movie talking about Jay and Silent Bob and the way they're moving forward, but it's also talking about like Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes and how their life has changed and evolved, especially becoming family men. And there's touching moments in there, and like both Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes' daughters are in this movie, and they're both cute. And Harley Quinn Smith she has some really good scenes, and she has some really bad scenes in this movie. And 90%, I'll say 90%, Harley Quinn does really great in this. It's just there's some scenes where you can see she's still developing as an actress. It's not a bad thing. She's still relatively new. She's finally getting away. She worked with Quentin Tarantino on his movie, the latest one. God, I can't even remember what it is now, the title is. But she was in that movie, and so she's breaking away from her dad, which is really good. I enjoy seeing Harley Quinn break away from, just working on her dad's movies to get in her own work. But like I said earlier too, this movie is a cameo movie. There are callbacks from every single movie, from Clerks all the way up to Mike and Mary, or Zach and Mary Make a Porno, to I don't think he had any from Tusk or the other movie, but pretty much any of the early View Askew movies, there's someone in there for everybody. So if you love Chasing Amy, there's cameos from Chasing Amy. If you love Mallrats, there's cameos from people that love Mallrats. This movie, the comedy is great as well. I think he's elevated his comedy. I think this movie, and I'm glad I kind of saw this, I haven't mentioned this before, this was a double feature Fathom event. So I watched Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back right before going into Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. And so that gave me a different perspective. I still love Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. It's probably one of my favorite movies of the View Askew. But Jay and Silent Bob Reboot just shows where Kevin Smith has gone as a filmmaker. He's elevated his stuff a little bit more. We're still getting the weed and the fart and the sex jokes kind of humor, but it's done a little bit better. It's handled a little bit better, in my opinion. And speaking of cameos, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to try to be as vague as possible. There's cameos in this movie from people that I personally thought we would never see on film again. It was a very touching moment. I didn't expect it when it showed up, and it brought a tear to my eye, and it warmed my heart to be able to see that cameo on screen again. So I hope you guys go into it, and feeling the same way when you see it. Now, also speaking about the theatrical release of Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, they mentioned it at the beginning of this movie because they had a little lead-in between Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes. This movie doesn't really have a theatrical release date. What's going to happen is that there's a Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes roadshow where they're going to do a Q&A while screening Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. I'll try to remember to put the link in the description below. But if you go and Google Kevin Smith, Jason Mewes roadshow, I'm sure you'll find it. What they said then is once they come to that city, that city will get the movie released to them to a wider audience. So I don't know why that's being done. I know Fathom Events, they said they were doing it so that way they could kind of drum up, it's kind of a screening type thing. So if you're looking for when is this going to hit the mass theaters, there is no mass theater release date. I think they say in the UK it's November 29th. So if you live in the UK, then you should be able to see it in November 29th. I think for the Maryland area, I think the roadshow is in January or February. So it's going to be a few more months before this movie even comes out for the mass production, for even the area that I live in. So yeah, I don't know why they did that. Because I think, let's just roll this into my Sheps. Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, I'm giving 4 out of 5 Sheps. There's a few issues with this movie, but not overall. Like I said, there's a few acting little choices that just didn't work for me and whatnot. But overall, I think I'm going to even say it, I think this is better than Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I can't wait this movie to come back into my area because I will be going to go see it again. I'll probably go see it a couple of times in the theaters. I really loved it. I thought it was really well done. I thought the comedy was great. I thought most of the time the acting was really well done. I love the cameos. I love the message that it was sending. And guys, if you get a chance, go see Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. You won't be disappointed. If you're a Kevin Smith fan, if you're an early View Askew fan, you will love this movie. I guarantee it. That's it, guys. That's all I can say about this movie. So with that being said, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you at the next review.